So today's episode is a special one. I'm sitting down with someone who's been living customer experience long before it became a buzzword, my mom. And this is our Mother's Day episode. So my mom, Debbie Meiler, is an area manager at Baywood Hotels, overseeing multiple properties, including AC Hotel, Fairfield, and Residence Inn Doral. What makes her perspective so valuable is that hospitality is really the foundation of everything we talk about in social media: service, consistency, and how you make people feel. So welcome, and thanks for being here today.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're in my world and my office.
It's so different to be on the other end.
Exactly. So let's go back, and can you share your journey into how you got started in hospitality?
Sure. I got started in hospitality a long time ago. I won't say how many years, but a very long time ago.
Yeah.
And honestly, I went to school for fashion merchandising and buying. And when I graduated, while I was going to college, I decided to work at the airport. Mm-hmm. And I worked at a major airport working for an airline, and it was so much fun.
I actually always joke that you named me after your job at the airport. I know you didn't, but it was KLM Airlines, and my initials are KLM.
Yes.
And I'm like...
And that wasn't done on purpose, but it did work out. But that was my very first job with the airlines, and I loved it. I developed a passion for traveling, and just I liked the excitement. And then a couple of years later, got married, had a child, and it wasn't conducive for me, but I still wanted to stay in the industry. And so I found hotels. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I got started in the whole industry. I did try fashion merchandising and buying. I did try retail for a little bit, and I hated it.
Yeah. So, I don't like it either. So
no,
I get that.
It just definitely was not me. But hospitality has been my passion. I really found that I loved it from the start.
Yeah. I mean, even when you were working part-time when we were young, you were always at the front desk and always still like part of hospitality and really part of Marriott for a while as well.
Yes, most of my career has been with Marriott. I had a short period of time where I was with a Holiday Inn, but the rest of the time has been with Marriott.
Mm-hmm. There's actually a Courtyard going viral right now on TikTok. I don't know if you've heard of this story.
I don't think so.
Where it's hilarious. I'll have to link it to this episode. This guy got like a glass of wine on his work trip at like, I want to say like the Westbury Courtyard, like upstate New York or somewhere. And the glass of wine, he brought it to his room and he's like filming a TikTok. And it's like the pour is like to the top. And he's like, this is how you do a pour. He's like, I'm about to be lit at the Courtyard by Marriott. Like, he's like very funny. Mm-hmm. And then the next day he comes back and he's like, yet again. And he like learns the bartenders' names. And he just did a whole funny like series. And people are like, how Courtyard by Marriott hasn't jumped on it yet or hasn't like done a collaboration with him yet. I don't know. They should maybe have one coming because it was hilarious. But it was just a silly video. Exactly. But it's one of those things of like social media does have that power. And everyone's talking about a Courtyard.
And also the fact that he felt compelled to talk about it.
Yes.
Like, you know,
yes.
It was the little things that made him so happy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And now everyone's joking. Like, there are people on vacation. They're like, this is a Courtyard pour. Like, people are at their house saying, I'm giving the Westbury special. Like, it's
everybody
ridiculous.
Expects that Courtyard pour now.
I know. They get a book just for the glass of wine. It's very funny. So what are you responsible for across multiple properties in your role now as area manager?
So I'm basically support for the general managers of the other properties. I also manage my own property. So I'm managing my own property day to day, the financials, everything from, you know, staffing and financials and performance and maintenance and guest satisfaction.
Yeah.
And I basically do the same with the other properties, but there is a manager that I work directly with. Mm-hmm. And so basically just overseeing, mentoring, giving them best practices.
Yeah. And all these properties really are airport hotels as well. So you're kind of not too far from the airport industry. And a lot of times the airlines give you business. So it's kind of nice that you kind of still have that background and it still flows together.
Yeah. And it really does help. You know, it's nice that I do have that background because it does give me, I feel like it gives me a little bit of a leg up because I kind of
understand the lingo and what they're going through. And that's great business. I mean, there's always some flight getting canceled, a flight delay. Like, it's consistent business.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for them, but it is true.
Yeah. So what does great service actually mean in your world in Marriott, hospitality, hotels?
Great service to me means responsiveness, consistency, and being very genuine.
Yeah.
No one wants to go somewhere and be spoken to like they don't matter or it's very robotic. Great service to me is just being yourself.
Yeah.
Being genuine, and making that person feel how they should feel when they come to a hotel, right? They're there probably either for work or on vacation, but no matter what they're there for, they're still away from home. So they want to feel comfortable, and the goal is to get them to come back.
Yes.
So great service is if you're hitting all those marks.
I feel like we talk about this a lot, like even when we travel and like as a family and we're doing things, is sometimes things are out of people's control, but just acknowledging it and trying to offer something just makes the situation that much better. But when people try to ignore it or they brush it off or they don't really help, it's like, now what?
Oftentimes people don't know how to react to something that's negative. So if a guest comes and they're upset or there's a problem or there's something, or maybe they're just upset about something that happened before they even got there.
Yeah.
The staff sometimes doesn't know how to react. So it's just teaching that makes such a difference, right? Because how you handle that situation is what's going to set the tone for their stay.
Right.
I had a lady one time come in and she was extremely frustrated. She had been traveling for more than 24 hours. And she briefly mentioned that it was her birthday. The airline canceled her flights twice. And I said, I'll be right back. I walked in the back. I came back with a gourmet box of cookies and I gave it to her and said, happy birthday. And I hope that this makes her day just a little bit better. And she basically almost cried.
Yeah.
It was so simple. It was just such a simple gesture.
But she was at her wit's end at that point. Yeah.
And I was listening to her.
Yes.
I didn't just say, oh, I'm sorry, and keep going.
Exactly.
They want to be heard.
Yes. And I feel like Disney does a good job with that with their employees.
They do.
Like they give their employees a lot of leeway to, if something happens, you can give them money to buy a shirt in the shop if their shirt got ruined. And you can give them free ice cream. Like I feel like they do a good job training that. And I think the problem is if people are not hitting those experiences in person, they're running to social media and then they're blasting these companies online. And that's kind of where we're going to get to that shift now. But before we get to that shift with social media, for people who don't know, I think there's been like a running family joke that anytime we're with you at a restaurant or traveling or something, anything that can go wrong always goes wrong. I can say like, I love a restaurant or I love somewhere, and then we bring you and it's like the worst service, the worst food. You've had a fingernail in your water before. We've also had our waitress on fire.
Yes.
That's a funny story.
On fire.
Yeah. So we were in Disney and we were eating at Disney Springs. We were eating at the T-Rex restaurant, which is like a spinoff of Rainforest Cafe, but all dinosaurs. And we had a long day in the Florida sun at the parks. We just wanted water. We're sitting there. We're like famished. We don't have anything to say to each other anymore. We're just hungry. Tired. Like the four of us are beat. And we're waiting and waiting and waiting. And our server's gone a long time. We ask other people like, yeah, they'll be back. There's like a meteor shower going on. There's like everyone's getting their food and drinks, but our whole section is like deserted. All of a sudden, she comes back and she was like soaked. And she was like, sorry, my hair caught on fire on like the volcano dessert. And I think I'm going to like go home or try to figure out someone to take my shit, like the whole ordeal. Which meanwhile, if someone would have just told us like, we're having an issue in the kitchen, be patient, it would have been fine. But everyone was just sitting around like we were the forgotten table, all of us, the whole section. And poor girl. And obviously they made it right. And it's not like we're going to blast them. And like, things happen, but that's one of the wildest ones I feel like we've had with you.
But also it's all how someone responds to it, right?
Yes.
Because we could have been the family that was frustrated because we were tired.
Yes.
We were thirsty. We were hungry, but we have compassion.
Yes.
At the end of the day, things happen. And that was a pretty unfortunate situation that happened to her. So, it's all about how things are handled.
Yes, it's so true. So if hospitality really is about like that kind of experience, I think the real question becomes like, how do brands translate that into the digital world? And not just from complaints and not just from bad experiences, but how can they make that like better? I think sometimes it's like, how can they, increase that first impression? I know we're talking about like booking hotels for Napa coming up. And it's, if they're going to create an experience on social media or picking between two, we might lean more towards the hotel that has great social media versus the hotel that doesn't. But also, is that going to connect to the hotel? Like, is it telling a true story or is it selling a lie too? It's kind of a sticky middle ground. What do you think when it comes to like that first impression online?
I think first impression online is super important. And I think that the brand has to match what your service is.
Yes.
If you're claiming that you have all of your rooms are oceanfront, and then someone goes there and you're putting them with parking lot views because you're 2 blocks away from the ocean, that's not matching what you're saying. So your service has to match with what you're putting out there. And I feel like that's most important. And I feel like that's where people are going to gain or they're going to lose.
Yes.
It's super important. So I feel like the first thing most people do nowadays is, yes, they look at the pictures of the hotel. They'll look at the amenities. They'll look at, the gallery and see everything. Mm-hmm. But now everyone goes to the reviews. Mm-hmm. Everyone goes to the reviews. And the reviews are super important, right? Because so many times I picked your hotel because of the reviews. Mm-hmm. If you get a negative review, you have to fix that right away. Mm-hmm. And you have to address that right away. But you also have to be true to your brand. So you have to make sure that what you're putting out there is what you're delivering.
Right. Because then if you're selling something that they're going to get disappointed to, that's like we have some limited service hotel clients. And working with our team, one of my team members specifically, I remember for like a continental free breakfast, she said like when I was reviewing her captions, something along the lines of like, fuel up on a like delicious whatever kind of breakfast. And I was like, I'm gonna be really honest with you. It's continental. There's nothing that delicious about it. I said, we're not advertising that. I'm like, just say like grab your essentials, or, make sure you can stop by and fuel up for your day. But I'm like, we don't need to oversell this free breakfast because someone's going to be disappointed. But if we're telling them you have the essentials, you can fuel before you leave, we're not competing with the restaurants around. It sets the expectation.
Correct. And they need to be realistic because you don't want someone coming in and saying, where is this?
Yeah, where are the stack of waffles I saw on Instagram?
Exactly. So I think that's super important.
It's so true. And what can social media managers learn from front desk interactions? I think a lot of interaction at the front desk probably could help, shape social media posts.
I think if there's a takeaway that social media managers can learn would be how they respond, right? If it sounds very robotic, that's kind of what maybe someone might think a social media manager might reply, right? They're reading off a script. They're doing something because there's so many times that you do have brands out there and then people ask questions or they'll say things and you can tell they're just saying the same thing over and over again because they're just reading from a script.
Yeah.
Where I feel like if they had to learn anything from guest service employees, they're going to learn to be genuine. To be genuine. That's really the bottom line. It's not hard. There's not really a big science. It's just be genuine. Respond genuinely. That's more important to me, I think. And I think that's a big takeaway that people can learn in social media. Because I feel like oftentimes I read responses and they're the same over and over and over again. You lost me.
Right.
Because now I know that you're just responding from a script.
Right. And even in the posts too, for example, AC is very specific and, it's a Spanish brand, literally came from Spain. There's like words that you're allowed to use, not allowed to use, but being able to make that human between those lines is what's going to make it set apart versus, because I see a lot of ACs on social media and I can see who's all using just the script and not going above. And there are some where I'm like, wow, they do an amazing job. There are some that I'm really impressed with. Like I know the one in Fort Lauderdale, they kind of go outside that script because they make it more Fort Lauderdale local.
Right.
But they stay within the brand. So it stands out versus one, around, some of the other ones around this area. So I think you're right. Is that genuine? What's like true to the brand, true to the area, kind of knowing your area too.
Exactly.
I think there's a lot of focus in like staying local, eating local, shopping local, especially because I think of Airbnb. Some people, kind of left the hotel space, but now they're going back to the hotel space. So I think also leaning into that, like you guys carry local treats in your store from Miami and Florida. And I think that adds that genuine aspect that you're saying. Like it just feels more at home and not so like corporate.
And if people are going away, they want to experience something new. So if there's something they can experience locally,
yes,
that resonates with where they're going, they want to have that. So
exactly.
If you're lucky enough to be in a location where you can showcase that, then that works really well for the brand as well.
Yeah. And then those people are sharing it and it just adds that voice online. The complete opposite of shopping local, did you see that Pepsi and Marriott? It's a whole big deal with Marriott. Okay, yes. So people who don't know, Pepsi was the official soda of all Marriotts, right? Not even the chains, like or everybody, for all of them.
Well, Marriott.
So, and you know why they were GFS? Did you know the story why?
Yes.
Do you want to tell the story?
I mean, sure.
In short.
So basically, in short, Marriott had approached Coca-Cola when they first started, and basically Coca-Cola turned them down.
Yeah.
And so they approached Pepsi, and Pepsi was like, sure.
With the loan. Pepsi gave them a loan as well.
Correct. And so basically Marriott was loyal to Pepsi for all of these years. Mm-hmm. And just now they announced that
the contract is up. The loan is paid back. Yep. They're more than in their rights to change.
Yes, and it is a huge buzz.
It's wild.
Yeah, it is.
In a shame, I respect it. I'm not a Pepsi drinker. Sorry to anyone who's listening to the podcast who is. I am a faithful Diet Coke drinker. But it's almost a shame because I always respected their partnership anyways, even though I don't like Pepsi. Yes. So them changing, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's wild.
But you know what it really boiled down to? It was the loyalty to the partnership that they had or the loyalty to their customers.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point that you brought. Yeah.
Yes. And so when they did their research and they found that more of their clientele preferred Coca-Cola products,
yes,
they had to make a decision. And ultimately, we're here for them.
Yeah. So I mean, hello, like my dad, he will be like, oh, you have Pepsi? Forget it. I'll just get a water with the accent. So I only want a water. Yeah. And then he's like, oh, Cassandra, you brought me somewhere where they have Pepsi.
It's true, though.
Every time.
And, you don't realize, but, it's the little things that really make a big difference. Yeah. And so for hotels, that could be the difference of them staying with the brand or going to another brand.
Yeah, it's wild. Mm-hmm. So wild. And speaking of reputation and brands, how do you protect a brand's reputation? I feel like sometimes there's that stigma of a lot of reviews, or people usually leave reviews when they're mad, but not when they're happy. And how can you really protect the brand from the negative when probably it is doing well, or people just are on their merry way, they check out, they're happy, they don't give a review? Like, what do you do in all of those situations?
It's a hard situation to be in. I think the best thing that you can do is be proactive, to try to circumvent those negative reviews to come out, right? If you can fix something that happened or there's something that occurred that you can fix ahead of time so that when they leave, they're leaving a positive review, you can do that. But if they do leave a negative review, I feel like it's how you respond.
Yeah, I think if a hotel, especially, or any place doesn't have any negative reviews, then I'm suspicious.
Correct.
But if there's something like, I don't know, the room was dirty, but they gave me a brand new room and they fixed it and whatever, like at least you have like, okay, well, they handled it.
Or, I had to wait, an hour for the shuttle. Sometimes that might happen. Maybe you can during peak time, right? And those are things that may happen. It's not anyone's intention, but it does happen sometimes. We are dealing with, being in a city and traffic and so on and so forth. The airports themselves, we're in Miami Airport. The traffic there is so unpredictable. You can go in there and buzz in and out of there, and then there's another time that you can go in there and you're waiting forever just to get through.
Right.
But more importantly, it's more about how you respond and how quickly you respond. Because if you don't respond right away, then it kind of makes it look like, well, you didn't really care. And oh, well.
That's so true.
But if you respond right away and you respond, obviously you're going to apologize for whatever they experience. But it's more about addressing it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what you can do to protect the reputation. If you do that, I feel like that works. Because like you said, there's always going to be something. If you don't have any negative reviews,
it's
you have to wonder.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then speaking of content, not just for hospitality, but I think all brands, I think we're in a world right now with influencers, content creators, where things are being created just for the content, but people are forgetting the experience. And I think, like you said, with the cookies and someone's birthday, and I think people are forgetting just good customer service and experience is important. Even like the Moxie hotels that they're opening more of, like it's very content creator focused in the sense of like you can get a drink in a juice pouch, or you can have a funky, like a DJ in the lobby, and you can have a funky room. And those are Instagrammable moments. But sometimes it's not the glamorous moments. It's like the experience that matters. And how do you like teach your staff about the giving an experience?
I think it's the leadership, right? It's what you preach, and I think a lot of it has to be shown leading by example. I'm going to give you an example. We have a bartender. He's fabulous. I have two fabulous bartenders, but my full-time bartender, he makes it a point to know everyone's name.
It matters. Yeah.
They come down. He has their drinks ready for them. I didn't have to teach that to him because he had been doing this for so long. He had it already. So if you have that in you, you're working in hospitality.
Right.
So if you have that in you, you're going to deliver. And he always delivers.
And that will go further than just, a cute cocktail.
I have people that say, I'm staying at XYZ hotel down the block, but I come here because I love coming to the bar, and so is just great. Every time I come here, he knows my order. He knows what I liked. And maybe they couldn't stay at my hotel because we were sold out.
Yeah.
But they still come to the bar.
Wow.
And so that makes a big difference. My front desk staff, they'll say when the guests are walking in, welcome back, Mr. So-and-so.
Yeah.
And that makes such a big difference. And I tell everybody, if you don't do anything else, always acknowledge. Because if you acknowledge, people feel welcome and they feel good, and they're going to come back.
Yes.
And that's the most important thing. But I feel like that's hard to teach.
Yeah.
You kind of have to have a little bit of that in you as well.
And I think, online as well, it's very obvious when people are posting and acting like brands very self-serving versus commenting. I've been seeing a lot more brands lately doing a good job commenting videos that have nothing to do with them, just trying to add to the conversation and be there and kind of add to the fun. And I think those are the brands that are going to continue to grow.
I agree.
So because this is a Mother's Day episode as well, I want to get into the roles of working moms. What do you think people misunderstand about working moms as one that you are and you hire?
I think maybe if I had to come up with something, I would say that I think that people have the misconception that you can't do it all, right? That you're not good at what you do at work because you're a family person, you're a mom, you're juggling all of these things. And I think that's such a huge misconception, because I feel like actually being a parent, I feel like better even prepares you, because you have to be organized, you have to plan, you have to execute. You're the one that everyone relies on, right? It's the same. It's the same when it relates to work.
I think it was Ellen Pompeo from Grey's Anatomy. I think it was her. She was in an interview. I have to link it, but she basically said that they were like, you can't give 100% because you're a mom. She's like, you're right. She's like, but I'm telling you the 50% or 80% I'm going to give you is better than the 100% I could have given you before I was a mom. She goes, because now my cup is full here, or I'm focused here, or I have these learned experiences that like I can tell I'm so much a better person now. As she goes, so it might feel like, oh, wow, she's stretched thin. She goes, but I can tell I'm in a way better headspace than I ever was. Like, she did a really good way of explaining it, but she was like, it's an experience that's not taught.
I feel like it almost comes more natural, too, because, you have to juggle it all. You are it. At home, you're it. You're mom, right? Yeah. You have to handle everything. And so I feel like when you're at work, it's the same, and especially if you're in a leadership role. But I think it doesn't matter what role, but I think if you're in a leadership role, I'm it. I'm the one that has to answer, I have to give everyone answers. I have to help. I have to mentor. I have to teach. I have to train. But I think it comes easy after being a mom. Like, you just do it. You have to do it.
Right.
And I think that's a big misconception. I think you can just, if you can get it done home, you can get it done at work.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it's funny because people ask me like, oh, like, do you have like business owners in your family, or do both your parents work because you're so like driven and you have an entrepreneur? I'm like, no, none of them have their own business. I was like, but I've always had a parent working, but I've also always had a parent home. Like, it was never really, the two of you really never had a career at the same time. So it's like I always had somebody around, somebody home. I feel like the family unit was always first. Like, you were always mom first, who then also worked at the hotel.
Correct.
But I don't think you were ever like mom boss. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just did it.
Correct.
Yeah. And I think that's what people misunderstand, or they think like you can't have all of that. But also I think seeing you do it, I was like, oh, like there was no other option to not, and you guys also push education on us too.
We did.
And we also grew up in an area where everyone's mom really did have, even if they were stay-at-home mom, they all had some sort of like pretty outstanding career, or we had doctors, lawyers, teachers. Like, everyone was really well educated where we grew up, no matter if they were a stay-at-home mom, a working mom, working from home mom.
Right.
We had a lot of my friends' moms growing up who worked from home. I think before working from home was even really like a thing.
Yeah.
Just because they couldn't bear to not work.
Yeah, exactly. When we moved down to Florida, you were starting kindergarten, and I said, oh, I'm not going to work for at least a year.
Yeah.
And we moved in May, and by July I was working.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I needed to work.
Yeah.
But I wanted it. I felt like I was better.
Yeah, you had your own identity, your own thing to do.
Yeah, and I felt like I performed better at home.
Yes.
And I performed better at being at work. I needed to be productive. I needed to be able to do things. And I felt like I was able to manage that.
Yeah.
It was not really an option for me. I felt like that's what I needed. And I felt like I was a better mom because of it.
Yeah. And we loved when we were young visiting you at the hotel, getting Starbucks at the hotel, using the label maker. Like, that's like ridiculous, but I loved using the label maker.
Take your child to work day.
Yes. We felt like Zach and Cody, even though it was like not a glamorous Zach and Cody hotel, but we thought we were on the sweet life of Zach and Cody.
Oh, yeah.
And we loved going to lunch. That was the best part.
McDonald's,
yes,
right?
Yes. It was like McDonald's or Arby's, and that was exciting.
And the market, going to the market and getting your candies after. Yeah, it was a lot of fun experience.
But I always joke too that like, oh, I'm bougie. Like, people are like, oh, you're gonna go camping, and I was like, why would I ever go camping? My mom's worked for Marriott like my whole life. I was like, Girl Scouts trip. We all stayed at like a vacation club Marriott.
We did
in Orlando, and that was our version of camping.
Right.
Like, it's great. I'm not meant for the outdoors.
No, definitely not. But that's what you guys were raised with.
I'll take it. So we close out every episode for every guest with 2 quick questions. I'm sure you've heard them many times. So now it's your turn. So what's your favorite current social media platform?
I think I have 2.
One only. No, I'm kidding.
Well, the first one you're going to be like, but it is Facebook.
I'm not going to be like,
it is
still
Facebook.
Does really well for a lot of my clients.
But I use it more for learning.
Yeah.
I don't use it more. I don't use it socially.
You're always finding news. You're always finding things going on. Yeah.
Like, I use it to educate myself.
Yeah.
So I find Facebook. And then for entertainment purposes, I do like Instagram.
Yeah.
But I do that just for entertainment purposes, really.
I get it. I know. And we got Grandma on Instagram and TikTok.
We did.
She's
She's better at it than me.
She's on TikTok fast. She sees everything. And she'll do like, love you, heart, and then she's on to the next post already.
No, and she knows the newest things that are out. And when you're there and you guys talk about it, she's like, oh yeah, I've seen that. Oh, I know about this. And I'm like, really? How do you know?
No, she's got a lot of people beat.
Yeah, she does. She's really good at it.
She is. And now, what's one social media trend that you wish would just disappear?
Oh, this is an easy one for me.
This is everyone's hard question.
I know.
You're quick. What is it?
I know, because it's the one thing that drives me crazy. It's the AI ads where like you have a baby like scaling a wall like Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
or like all those silly ones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ugh. Okay, it's cute once,
yes.
But it's all over and it's so repetitive. and it just takes too much screen time.
Yeah.
I wish that would go away.
Yeah. And now people who were like using it thinking it was making people stop. Now it's like repelling you from their ads or repelling you from their site.
It really is. I think it
Overused.
Yeah, it's way overused, and I wish like that's something that would go away.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I'd rather see like a cute dog than like an AI baby. The AI babies kind of freak me out.
I know. And I feel like people need to see genuine.
Yes, we're lacking that.
Yes. Once in a while, it's fun to throw something in, but I think you do need to have that
authenticity. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, when I see those ads, I'm right away clicking out of it.
Yeah. They're not getting any sales on you.
Nothing. No, because it's over. It's over. It's overused, overdone. I wish it would go away.
I don't disagree. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. And happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.